Hello YouTube and welcome to Full Dottle, a channel dedicated to tamping topics such as pipes, tobacco, lure, and more. I am your host, the Bearded Briarman, and without further ado, let's get lit. Welcome back everyone, and on this episode of Full Dottle, I'm going to be telling you a story about when I was in Iraq. This time, I'm going to tell you a funny story. A little housekeeping. I am smoking my Savinelli 673KS Rusticated Dolmiti, and in it, I'm smoking some GL Peace Odyssey. So, as I told you in War Stories Toe Popper, my unit was staged in Kuwait before the war in Iraq kicked off. Before President Bush declared war on Iraq, we were set up, and we were one of the first units in Baghdad. So we get there, and when it first kicked off and everything, you know, it's just nothing but desert and dirt and just nothingness for forever. And we were there about 9 months before it was time finally for us to rotate out. When we had gotten back to Kuwait to fly out and go back to California, they had little makeshift camps that were set up. And in these camps, they would have a staging area for the troops, these real long rectangular tents where we would sleep at. And then they also had some hygiene trailers, as well as a makeshift chow hall, another tent that was set up to feed all of us. So we get back, to Kuwait, and they give us a few hours of basically R&R. They tell us we're within the camp now. It wasn't an active zone. We weren't in theater any longer, so we were free to be able to move about the camp and just kind of enjoy ourselves, our free time, and then come back later and we would have our formation. So a buddy of mine and I, we start exploring the camp and everything, and we go to the chow hall and we get a quick bite to eat. Then we come back to the tents. And these tents, because they weren't fully completed yet, there was a lot of stuff that wasn't finished. Well, I walk into one of our tents and my sergeant calls out and he says, "Hey, Win, come here real quick." So I head off over to him. He says, "See those wires right there? Grab them." Well, in the tent, they were cloth tents. And in the middle, they had, depending on how long they were, they would have big poles set up for support. On these poles, it was like every other one or every two, they had a fluorescent light fixture set up. Well, because they weren't completed yet, this one only had like one light fixture, and then the other ones had dangling wires setting out where the light fixtures were going to be placed. I look at it and I think, there's no way that they're going to let live wires be setting out with a bunch of Marines sitting around, because as everyone knows, jarheads are not exactly the brightest of breeds. And this is why. So I go over to the wire and I don't think it's going to be live, so I grab it. And it shocked the piss out of me. I mean, it brought me to my knees. It hit me so hard, and I don't know anything about electricity, so I don't know why my hand didn't clamp on or, you know, anything like that. You always hear these horror stories. It didn't do anything like that. I was able to sling it out of my hand, but it hit me so hard it dropped me to my knees. Sergeant's laughing. He thinks it's a grand old time. Well, I get a bright idea. I get a couple of my good Marine friends, and I tell them, you know, if we form a chain with this and we grab it, only the last person will get shocked. And so I convince him to take on this idea of mine. And there was one guy that we all kind of gave a hard time. And I mean, I know that sucks, but I convinced my friends to form this daisy chain with this guy, and I convince him that when we grab the wire, only he is going to get shocked. And I fully believed it, and I sold it to these guys. And so we convinced him to do it. I don't know how we did, but we convinced him that nobody's going to get shocked. Don't worry about it, because the way that we're set up, it'll disperse it, and no one, all we'll feel is a teeny tiny little tingle or something. I don't remember exactly how I convinced him to do it. But so 2 of my Marines are in on it. They think they're not going to get anything out of it. This last guy's going to get shocked. So we look at each other. We all hold hands and we wait. This guy grabs the other 2's hands, and here the wire's over here. And so we're kind of smirking to ourselves, knowing that we're all good to go except for homeboy at the end. He's about to get a rude awakening. So I grab one wire and I hold it, and I'm looking at my friends, and we convince him to grab the other wire. And as soon as he starts to grab the other wire, we look at each other like, watch this. He completes it, he grabs the wire, and we all, the smiles on our face disappear. We look like somebody just told us that our dog died. I mean, we were just like, ugh. And we all dropped to our knees. It was crazy. We got hit, all of us together. When we let go, my fellow Marines are looking at me like, what the hell, man? And I was just like, oh. Apparently, because I know nothing about electricity, all we did was complete a circuit. We just simply, I grabbed the hot wire, grabbed him, and then the last guy grabbed the ground wire, and we completed a circuit. So the electricity ran through all of us and back out, you know? I guess it would work, from what I've heard. If I grabbed it and then grabbed somebody else really quick, it would pass through me to them or something like that. I don't know, but that's what we thought would happen. We thought it would just simply pass through me, or you know, all of us, and then the last guy would get shocked for some reason. It didn't happen like that, and I learned a valuable lesson. And the lesson was, don't be messing with people, man. Anyway, everybody, that's my story for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and until next time we see each other, I bid you farewell and happy piping. Goodbye, everyone. Don't forget to enlist in the full Dottle platoon. It's easy. Just click the subscribe button. Also, hit that bell icon to be notified as soon as I upload the next episode.